what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News. We are a podcast that discusses comic books, movies, TV shows, and we typically have a beer in the week. However, there is no beer of the week this week because it's 9 o'clock a.m. where I'm at. I just woke up. I hit the Peloton that you can see behind me. I got the Roosevelt's Christmas shirt on, and I got my Starbucks Christmas coffee right here. It's the Christmas blend, and I'm drinking in that some oat milk peppermint creamer, which is really good.
Ooh.
Normally it's pumpkin, but I saw they had oat milk of this creamer, so I went for it. And of course it's oat milk. I gotta. I'm old now. If you can't tell, my voice might be a little crappy. I've been sick. I had COVID a couple weeks ago, and I've just been sick since. So I don't know
I
what's
think the
going on.
whole world's been somewhat sick the last few weeks.
My whole work center is sick. I've known so many people that are just sick. It's like it's kind of
It's like
scary. It's a
every
little
germ we
scary.
didn't get for 2 years wearing masks, we're getting them all collectively at once, and
No
COVID is still
kidding.
here.
No kidding. So yeah, like COVID, and then my daughter had the flu last week, and so everybody just wash your hands, wash your ass, be safe, and bring some hand sanitizer everywhere
But
you go.
do that in the opposite order. Wash your ass,
Yes,
then wash your hands. Please
yes,
don't do
of
it
course.
the way that my 5-year-old does it.
Please opposite, and just for the love of God, don't just splash some water on that bad boy. Um,
Right? Soap is your friend.
Today's episode, by the way, is going to be our
It's brought
toast
to
of
you by
2000.
Lysol.
It's brought
Sorry.
to you by washing your ass and Lysol. It's a toast to 2022. There was a lot of good media that came out this year, and so we want to kind of talk about it. And then next week we're going to talk about what we're excited for 2023. So today's episode, our favorites of 2022 across TV, movies, maybe some comic books, and then yeah. So obviously I told you what I was drinking. Go ahead, find us on Hops Geek News on any social media platform. Follow us, and then go ahead on YouTube. We're on Hops Geek News. We do a lot of shorts. We do a lot of videos like this. If you want merch, hopsgeeknews.threadless.com, patreon.com/hopsgeeknews, and then find our episodes if this is your first time ever being here. So with that said, Lauren, what kind of coffee are you sipping on over there today?
I got my Starbucks Christmas blend, but I poured a little bit of extra Baileys in it this morning. So,
Ooh,
I mean, it's 11 here. I could have gone beer, but
true.
I swear, as soon as the kids are out of school, we're all on a go to bed late, sleep in late kind of
Yeah,
schedule. So,
yeah. So I considered actually I could be drinking too. I'm on Christmas break. The kids are on Christmas break. I don't go to work until Tuesday. However, I'm gonna take the kids and we're gonna go to Walmart first because they have these matching Grinch Christmas pajamas that I have been wanting to get. And so I finally was like, all right, I'm gonna go get them. And didn't have Harper's size. So I'm distraught. And so I'm gonna
dun
swing by
dun
Walmart, but then
dun.
I'm gonna take the kids and
Walmart on December 22nd.
I know, crazy in Boise, Idaho. Ooh. And but anyways, we're gonna go see the Grinch in the Egyptian theater today. They're playing it at 2:15. So I'm gonna take the kids. We're gonna go see the Grinch. That's the movie that we have watched more than any other this holiday season because that's all they want to watch. So I figured let's go catch it in a movie theater. Get out of the house. We've kind of been trapped in
That's
the
fun.
house since Saturday. We had a gingerbread party last week, which we had a bunch of people come over, made gingerbread houses, had adult beverages. The kids had a good time. They did not have adult beverages. And then yeah, so and then that Friday, fun fact, was my work Christmas party, and we ended up winning a PlayStation 5, which I already have. So if anybody listening to this needs a PlayStation 5, I'll sell it to you for market value. I'm not trying to rip anybody off. I just already have one, so I'll sell it to you for 550. It's the Horizon bundle, and yeah, so I'm done selling stuff now. Lauren, we have some things that, for the first time in a while, really, that we've messed up on in the last week. So what would that be?
Well, we had a guest on last week and we recorded really late. It was funny when I went to go add the picture to our YouTube video. I was like, "Oh my god, I look like I'm falling asleep." Probably didn't help that I was wrapped in a blanket. So one of the things we talked about Mickey's Christmas Carol, and we were talking about how it won an award or it almost won an award, and it went up against Sunday in New York. Sunday spelled like ice cream Sunday. So this is a short from 1983. I said I would look into. And all it's a character closely resembling then Mayor Ed Koch, and he sings a variation on the theme of New York, New York, in an entirely clay animated film depicting a variety of locations and celebrities associated with New York City. I feel like
Interesting.
I've seen the SNL skit making fun of this.
I might have. I don't remember.
I think it was Christmas time for the Jews, which SNL is exceptionally funny this time of year. Like they do some great holiday skits.
Hmm.
The other thing we talked about Siskel and Ebert, we thought one of them were dead. We thought both of them were dead. We weren't sure. They both have since passed.
Oh
One
wow!
passed in 1999 and one in 2013. And
Pour
what's
one out for
funny,
the movie critics, the OGs. Pour one out.
Yes. They didn't like Mickey's Christmas Carol though. That's how we
All
started
right,
talking
so
about
you
them.
know what? Pour one onto their graves. Just kidding. Don't do that.
Ouch. Like Ebenezer Scrooge. Another one I caught a mess up that I started laughing is our guest's name was Lori. My name is Lauren. At one point you said Lori and I started talking.
I
So I
let
just
that one
started
go. I
laughing.
caught that and I let it go. I was like, okay, we're just gonna play this one. I did catch that one, but I
uh,
was just gonna let it play out.
well, it's funny because my mom's name's Lori. So often I meet people and I say Lauren and they're like, oh, Lori. And I'm like, no, 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 no. It's Lauren. And I'm always like
Like
enunciating it. And then
Ralph
I went and
Lauren.
yes, I have said that before, but not as fancy. So Judas was the one who portrayed Jesus. You were
I
correct.
was correct.
But it was also Peter. So I was also
What?
correct.
Peter Parker? How dare he?
There you go.
That's
A lot of
terrible.
stuff to clarify.
That's well, we appreciate you doing the homework because I sure didn't. But yeah, so let's go into what we've been reading or watching. Now, of course, we've been doing the 25 Days of Christmas, which you can go catch on our TikTok by searching Hops Geek News. However, there's some things that I do want to talk about. I've been watching
Same.
a lot of Hallmark movies, of course. Now,
Yikes.
there is one in particular that I really enjoyed. Now, I'm going to go with one that I'm going to start with one I didn't like. So I watched the Netflix one last night. I'm going to go with this one first. It's called The Noel Diary. Now, it's got the guy from
Oh,
This
Green
Is
Arrow?
Us, and he was
Is it
Green
Justin
Arrow.
Hartley? Okay, he's
Yes,
hilarious in A
yes.
Bad Mom's Christmas, though. He's a stripper with a
Oh, he's a
huge
great actor.
concoction.
What?
And he's Green Arrow in Smallville. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
No, it's a whole bit in the movie.
I
It's a great
I
movie.
I really enjoy him. Great actor. So he's in this movie. He's a famous writer, and his mom apparently dies. He goes back home. This girl shows up, and she's like, "Hey, I think my mom used to live here. I was adopted." She drags him into this whole mess, right? Cool. All right. Turns out she's got a fiance, and at no point in this movie,
Dun, dun, dun.
he's an accountant or whatever. The only slight against this guy is that he is trying to be smart with money. So he's worried about like gas money and stuff like that. She goes off on this adventure with Jacob, a writer here, and doesn't tell the fiance. Like she's the villain in this story. Netflix, they did not capture the heart that Hallmark captures, okay? And I feel very passionately about this because you want to go into these movies and you know what you're gonna get, blah blah blah. However, so she like cheats on her fiance with Jacob, and then she ditches him in the middle of the night, even though he has mom issues and people abandonment issues. She goes to her parents' house. Jacob shows up. He's like, "I love you." She's like, "Well, I don't love you." As her fiance's pulling into the driveway of her parents' house, and it's just like, what? And then she just shows up at the end of the movie and just smiles. So her last lines in the movie are, "I don't love you," and he takes this girl back. Like, awful, awful movie, terrible movie. Do
So
not
Trace
recommend.
Tracy actually watched it last night and she texted me, quote, it was god awful.
Terrible, terrible. Tracy, I'm gonna have to give it Tracy because it was terrible. Now, the
So
Hallmark
oh,
movie. Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say there's a TikTok account I follow where this guy reviews really bad Christian movies and it's hilarious and he just shows clips and then he talks about them. I feel like you need to start a channel that's just Hallmark Christmas movies where you just lay into them like this.
I think I could because Netflix hire me in your writers' room because you did not capture the spirit, dude. Not at all.
Well, and yeah, every streaming network now has these Hallmark Christmas
Oh
movies.
yeah, oh yeah. Netflix is in the game. Amazon's in the game. Amazon's are also
Hulu.
trash. Hulu's in the game, but Hallmark does them perfect because this is their bread and butter. This is where they make all their money, right, from advertisements and things. And so I watched Hanukkah on Rye. Now it's
Oh
about
no.
this guy. I think his name is Jake as well, Jacob, and the girl's name is Molly. Now he's coming from California. His family owns a what's called Zimmerman's, a Jewish deli in L.A. Her family owns a Jewish deli in New York. So he's
I knew that
flying
was coming.
because he's flying across country to New York City to scope out the new expansion, which just so happens to be to like right down the road from this deli. And so there's like a whole thing. He doesn't let her know they're bubbies. Go ahead and they play matchmaker, and they're writing letters back and forth because I guess it's like a Jewish tradition, and they don't know it's each other and all that stuff. And now this movie's way better than it had any right to be. The actors were great. This movie, my favorite person in
Ah.
this movie is Thomas. He's like the apartment clerk. He's the goat, the freaking goat. But this movie was actually good for a Hallmark movie. Like I enjoy these movies, but this movie I really enjoyed, and so I gave it one glass of wine out of five. So normally my ranking scales is how much glass of wine do you have to get through this? It would only take you about one
Oh,
glass of
okay.
wine. And
I
so
was like, you
five
just said it
glasses of
was
wine would be
good.
terrible. Five glasses of wine
Gotcha.
would be the movie last night. Like, how drunk do you have to get through this trash? This one's one glass. So watch that. And then, of course, the Christmas specials and all of those kind of Christmas movies, Jingle All the Way. I am going to be on Four Nerds by Nerds, so I had to watch Jingle All the Way too. I'm only like 30 minutes in. It's probably one of the worst movies I've ever watched, and I hate Larry Cable Guy. So,
There we go.
what have you
Okay.
got for us?
The only non-Christmas thing I watched this week was I watched the 30th anniversary of Beauty and the Beast. Highly recommend it. It's on
Is that the
Disney
new one
Plus
that came
now.
out?
Yeah, it just came
Okay.
out. And what it is, it was on TV, so obviously you can tell the commercial break. So watching it on Disney Plus already is better because you avoid all that crap. But what they did was they took a combination of live action mixed with the cartoon, and then they mixed in like little tidbits. Like they literally did the whole movie from beginning to end, but they recast everybody, did live like some amazing dance numbers like in the studio. It wasn't like they were on stage or anything, like they're dancing through the studio. And then they would cut to a scene in the movie, and then they'd cut back, and then they would do like nods and show clips of like them recording back in the late 80s, early 90s. They
Huh.
talked about the history of like this was a movie Walt Disney wanted to make and couldn't make, and then it was it Ashman and Alan Menken, who had worked on like Little Mermaid. I think Alan Menken is the one that's still around. I think it was Howard Ashmore. I'm gonna feel bad if I'm butchering that because he passed away
Yeah.
when the movie like came out. But it was so beautifully done. It was so much fun. I mean, they had the whole like the Gaston live scene singing and dancing. I would have cut to the castle, and oh, I love that movie.
Huh.
But I
Sweet.
stupidly watched it on the treadmill because I have the half marathons coming up, so I'm doing more treadmill action. And like running on the treadmill when you're watching something that you know all the words to is
Yeah.
not the best for your lungs.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But
Yeah.
other than that, it's really just been Christmas stuff, which most of
I'm
that
sad.
I've been throwing on the TikTok.
I'm sad that
That
it's
what?
Christmas is done this week. Like, but when this
It's
comes out,
crazy.
I'm sad because there's so much buildup that goes into Christmas and so much excitement and everything is so exciting. And then Christmas comes and goes, and then after New Year's, you're just kind of in the doldrums. But I know what one of my Christmas presents are already, and that's going to be a flight back to Massachusetts in March for the first time in 3 years. So I can't wait to go see my family. That's exciting. But yeah, I don't know. It just sucks because there's so much excitement this time of year, and then it just ends, and then you're left with nothing. And anyways, speaking of nothingness, let's get into some news. You ready to get into some news? Because if you're a DC fan, you're left with a lot of nothingness lately.
Yeah.
And the first is that Cavill and Gal Gadot's cameos have been cut from The Flash. We don't know what's going on. Henry Cavill's out. We know that. We don't know. Apparently, Zachary Levi says he's still playing Shazam. I'm not going to take that until I hear James Gunn say it himself. And we don't know what's happening to Gal Gadot. Like, is she in? Is she out? We don't know. James Gunn basically was like, not everybody's getting the axe. And then, of course, Black Adam is not in the plans for DC. And at least initially, The Rock and James Gunn met. He was like, there's no room for Black Adam in the beginning, which I'm not surprised to say the least. Like, nobody who heard that news should really be surprised. And so, yeah, it just kind of like, I don't know. It sucked. I know this is for the best. Like, the Snyderverse needs to die. Everything needs to be burned. It's just, I like the actors a lot, and they never really got a fair shake at their characters. So
And they were
it's
all cast beautifully, I feel like.
yeah, agreed. And then of course my son they've watched Shazam about 4 times this week because they really love the movie, and so I can't wait to take him to see Fury of the Gods. And so I love Shazam. I've always liked the character a lot, but now I have this bond, and I'm like, I hope he stays because I really enjoy Zachary Levi. Asher Angel's really good as Billy Batson, and so I thought David F. Sandberg does a great job with those films. So I hope he stays because it's not really connected to the overall DCU. Like, sure, there's a battering in the first film, but other than that, I mean, they have a headless Superman show up, so that doesn't really
I
that doesn't connect him to anything else. So
mean, they just have it be in a different universe. I feel like that's just,
well, they are
yeah.
gonna. So James Gunn did come out and say that Justice League Unlimited and Young Justice were kind of the blueprints for the DCEU that they are going to be making, and then also that they are going to be working on Elseworlds movies still. So that could be like Matt
Oh.
Reeves Batman, that could be the Joker, that could mean a lot of things. We could be doing a lot with the Elseworlds films. So not all is lost, and we should be finding out here in the next few weeks what the plan is. We already know Young Superman, James Gunn's writing that. So yeah, that's really the only news that
And we
I
know he's
have.
going to be younger than Henry Cavill. There was another piece. My laptop is fighting me here, and my doc wasn't uploading. One other thing that I did start to watch that I just wanted to mention, and I did post this on our Instagram. If you're curious as to what Kevin Bacon was watching in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, I did Google it and I did find it. The movie is on Prime. It is called Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which really gives away the ending.
Yeah.
So I watched about the first 15 minutes. It's a 1964 movie, and basically the Martian children are plugged into computers and as infants, and they don't have a childhood. So they are, one of the other Martians is like,
Sounds
it's
awesome.
just sad. We don't have children. We have adults, or we have, yeah, adults in the bodies of children because they're just programmed from the get go.
Huh.
And so the Martians are going to Earth to go kidnap Santa to give their Martian children a childhood. And they get to New York and they see Santas on every corner ringing bells. And that's about the time that my 5-year-old was like, okay, I don't want to watch this anymore. And we turned it off.
Jeez.
But the fact that it's called Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, clearly we know how this is going to end.
Right. Well, yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's on
Oh,
Prime.
I will say I did forget one thing too. I've been playing Pokemon Violet a lot lately. I've really been playing that game. It's on the Switch. If I got my Switch fixed, yeah. And so I've been playing Pokemon Violet a lot, and I recommend that game. It's pretty open world. It's way better. This is probably one of the better games that they put out Pokemon wise in a while. So that's all I have. What kind of news do you got?
So did you, I was fucking with my laptop when you were talking. Did you go over the statement The Rock made?
Um, kind of. Basically,
Okay.
yeah,
I was gonna say I
I
can
did
pull it
talk
up if
about The
you
Rock,
okay.
how the statement was basically there's no room. However, $7 Productions is going to continue working with them to see how they could fit Black Adam into the future.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. My laptop is working again now. It keeps trying to update. Okay,
hooray!
so Matthew Lillard and Josh Hutcherson are to star in Five Nights at Freddy's. Have you ever seen that? Five Nights at Freddy's?
It's a video game, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I see it all the time at like MegaCon and stuff.
I've seen it everywhere. I've never actually like interacted with the property. I know it's everywhere.
Okay.
However, Matthew Lillard, you can put him in anything, and I'm watching that bad boy.
Uh, yeah, he's funny.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah.
Uh, Henry Cavill is now going to be bringing us a Warhammer universe.
Look, this dude, he's the biggest nerd, and I love it. Give him everything. He's a big Warhammer fan. I've never played it, but I'm excited. At least he's getting work.
Yeah, well, and he seemed excited about starting this universe. It's so interesting now, and when we like, I listed out the most anticipated movies of 2023, and it's like just about everything now is a universe, is a remake, is, you know, I guess that's
Yeah.
what you got to do if you want to start something new. You got to start a universe.
Yeah.
Um, Invincible season 2 will be coming in 2023.
Allegedly.
James Gunn, which you probably just said, that has confirmed Blue Beetle is still happening.
Oh, yes. Yes. I forgot that one.
A report by CNBC, I thought this was pretty funny, states that about 25% of all toy purchases are for adults. This
Oh, I
totals about
saw
9
this.
billion a year. So I think that's I mean, it's like, did you guys just now realize this? Is this, how is this a stat that's just now coming out?
I can't wait for like the old heads to be like, maybe if you stop buying toys, you can afford that house you've always wanted, or put down the
No longer
Starbucks in your
avocado toast.
Legos, and then you can afford that car. It's like, no, we just we buy. We were kids with adults' money, and I love this because you and I
Yeah, I
buy
thought it was
toys
pretty
still for
funny.
ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
Like my Legos, you buy action figures, like they're for props and things like that, but they're for us. It's like, hey, I hope your kids enjoy this. And meanwhile, it's just like, yeah, me, you mean, aka me? Like, that's just for me.
The best was when I was at Disney and I saw for the first time they had Captain America ears, and
Oh,
I like
yeah.
instantly grabbed them, went to the counter, and my son was in the stroller. He's probably 3 or 4 at the time. And I went to go pay him, and she's like, "Oh, are these for him?" And I'm like, "Well, no, but I'll share them with him." And she goes, "Well, sharing is caring. Do you want me to cut the tags off so you can wear them right away?" I'm like, "Yes, please."
Like, first of all, you mind your business, lady, okay?
She was so sweet about it.
It's
She's like,
just,
"Oh, I've seen this before."
we're changing the
Um,
world, folks.
My last piece of news isn't really news, but it's Christmas, which is the time of perpetual hope. So Jensen Ackles posted on his social media a clip of himself in The Boys, and he said, "Can't wait to throw the suit back on. That's my Christmas wish." And then did the fingers crossed.
Ooh, well, he's not dead. He's just frozen right now. So,
Exactly. So
not
you're
dead
saying
yet.
there is a chance. So it's
Yeah,
like,
you
why
got to
would
bring him
he?
back,
But
right?
he's friends with Kripke. So, like,
Yeah.
why would he say that if that wasn't going to happen?
Little foreshadowing by chance.
So I
He's
felt like
coming
that
back.
was,
We all knew it.
I mean, he has to.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was such an intense character too. And there's so many layers to him. And I feel like
Oh
we
yeah.
barely touched the surface of him.
Agreed.
I want to touch all of him, every layer.
I want to touch
All
his
right.
beer.
Oh yes. So his brewery right now is doing this thing where for $1,000 you can join like this membership and get free beer for life and go to their annual party where Jensen will be there. And I'm like, are they struggling? They're like pimping him out.
So you want to go half and half?
We've already been talking about it with people. It's like I wish it wasn't in Austin. And Josh was
I
like, if we
know,
lived
right?
here, I would definitely do it. But it's like then you got to fly and you don't know when this party is going to be.
I could
But
get
oh yeah.
stationed in Texas, so like we can start a road
Oh,
trip 3 hours south and go to Austin all the time. I'm just
I
saying.
mean, honestly, for the free, not the free beer, but for the beer alone, yeah,
I
it's worth
mean,
it.
yeah, just a beer. Yeah, $1,000 a beer for life from family business brewing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If it were a brewery here that I loved, I would do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
Josh
same.
even agreed.
So, all right, folks. Well, we're going to go on. We're going to say goodbye to 2022, a year that brought us a lot of really great stuff. Some things that I'm like, I didn't even remember that came out this year because who can really remember January to now? And it's in this economy, in this world, it's been a long life. Let's honestly say it. So, we're going to go ahead, say goodbye to 2022, talk about the things that we loved, and we'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back, folks. We're here to say goodbye to 2022. There was a lot of good properties that came out. We're going to talk about TV shows and movies. Um, so, Lauren, why don't you go ahead and take us away with what were the highest grossing films of 2022?
So Doctor Strange had the highest weekend box office. However, the highest grossing movies are as follows. And obviously, keep in mind this does depend on when the movie has come out throughout the year. Top Gun Maverick was the first one,
That movie had some legs.
Then Jurassic World, then Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Minions: Rise of Gru. This
I
is
saw
just
that in
sad.
theaters. I'm one of those people. I'm sorry. I took the kids. The kids wanted to see it.
Wakanda Forever, The Batman, Thor, Watergate Bridge,
I don't know what
and
that
Moon
was.
Man, which wasn't even released in the States, and then Avatar, which I'm sure Avatar will obviously rise in the ranks
Ugh.
overall.
Well, Avatar's not getting my money. Sorry, folks.
I mean, I saw most of those in the theater.
I
One,
saw
two,
all of
three,
them,
four,
but the
five.
last
I
three in
saw half.
theaters. I saw the first seven in theaters. No, I'm sorry. I didn't see Jurassic World. And that was
I
rough.
actually did see that in theaters.
I did
It
not enjoy that
was, I
movie.
mean, we
I'm
we
glad
talked
I
about that.
didn't.
It was fun. It was just so nostalgic though. It was like, I mean, there was times
It
where I
was
literally was able to predict the next scene
it
because I
was
knew what
not
they were
fun.
going for.
It was not fun.
It was
There
fun.
was nothing fun. So all right. Well,
Well,
you threw up a poll on Instagram and talked about what were your people's 2022 favorites. So for Patrick, who is one of our Patreon members on Hops News, that was Top Gun Maverick was his. Your mom actually said Thor. I would have thought Doctor Strange maybe, but that makes sense. Thor.
I think she just really likes Thor,
Yeah,
Chris Hemsworth.
that makes sense. Who doesn't?
I
Beefcake.
mean, yeah.
Sean from Metalcore Nerd said Wakanda Forever and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Tim Cameo, he said Top Gun Maverick and Elvis. I forgot Elvis came out this year, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
that's on HBO Max. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it either. I heard it's
It's
pretty
a good
long.
movie. It's very long. It's a good movie. Apparently Austin Butler like didn't talk to his family for 3 years, stayed in character and all this like crazy nonsense. And it's like,
Wow.
that's not healthy, dude. You should but actors do weird stuff. And then
I did
Kyber
hear,
Culture. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I heard an interview where he had a hard time not talking like Elvis after
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fact.
that
Yeah.
was all. Yeah, so he's in an upcoming World War II TV show that's next year with Billy Keegan as well, who played Joker in the Batman, and so that looks really good. I think
Mm.
it's coming on HBO, I want to say, and it's about pilots in World War II, which it comes in line with Band of Brothers and the Pacific. So you already know I'm on board with that. But uh,
That kid will always be the geeky kid from The Girl Next Door.
oh, that's right, he
Yeah.
was. I totally forgot.
That's the only
Forgot.
thing I saw in the Batman. That might have been why I didn't love the Batman too.
Totally
He's
forgot.
not scary to me.
No.
He can barely get laid.
That's true. But Hyperculture, his was Top Gun Maverick. And then as far as TV shows, Patrick said Letterkenny season 10, which started on December 26, 2001. And then season 11 starts this week.
2021.
That's what I said. What did I say? 2011?
2001.
Oh, woof.
It's a good year.
Was it?
Because I graduated from high school. It was a fun year for me. Oh, and then bad shit happened.
There,
But when
I
I
was
think,
gonna say
yeah,
there's something that happened in 2001.
no, something really bad happened.
Lauren's
But
out here like
before
it's the
that,
best year ever, and I'm like, there's a lot of people that say
yeah, no,
otherwise.
before that, yeah, well, because to me, I just think class of two. You know, the year you graduate, you write that shit on everything, and you have shirts made and all
2008, I
that crap.
graduated during the market crash. It's okay. Great things
I
happen.
graduated from law school that year
So,
and got a
anyways,
job in bankruptcy because of the market crash.
yes, see the market crash. Anyways, your mom said Andor. Tim said Andor and She-Hulk. If you ask my kids, She-Hulk is theirs. Sean said Andor, Kyber Culture, Andor, and then Ian said Supernatural. That was this year. Was the
No,
finale?
it wasn't. Ian's just trolling you.
Okay, I thought so. I was like, wait, I could because there was the final season. I just couldn't remember it was this year or was it last year or when was it?
No, it ended in 2020, but it
Okay, it
ended like
was
6 months.
2020. Really, that long ago?
Yeah, because it was supposed to end in like May 2020, and then they didn't get to film their last two episodes until months later because of COVID. But yeah, it just hit the 2 year anniversary. It ended in November. But I mean, but the Winchesters did start this year, but I think he only watched the first two episodes of the Winchesters.
Huh.
But
Well, interesting. I had no idea. For some reason, I thought that was last year.
that's because we talk about it so
Oh
much,
my god.
so it's still fresh in our hearts.
Oh my god. So we have to apparently just start a TikTok that's all supernatural because those are the only videos that actually get anything on like 100,000 plus views. Like whatever.
The
Maybe
Supernatural fans are intense.
I'll start a supernatural watch and I'll just document it on TikTok and I guess that's where it's going to shoot us to superstardom apparently. I don't know.
That's what, no, I was talking, we were talking about with the kids and my husband, we were actually laughing about the fact that these supernatural videos are doing so good. And I'm like,
It's
I told Matt that if
hilarious.
one hits 100,000, he has to watch the pilot. And now we have multiple ones that have hit 100,000 that are supernatural. And one of them said they're like, Matt should watch like a season and then do like a TikTok on it or do an episode and do a TikTok on it or something. What's
God,
funny
the
is you'll,
things I do for art.
hey, you know what my Hanukkah present was? Josh got me an R2D2 ornament because he said this was the year of Star Wars, and that was definitely part of your influence. That in Disney World. So I
Goodness.
mean, we can
All right.
influence each
Okay.
other for the better.
Fine. I will do
Maybe
this.
next year you'll get a Dean Winchester ornament for Hanukkah.
I hope so. I never gotten a Hanukkah gift. I got dreidels before because of my dad, but anyway, yeah, okay, fine. This 2023 you guys are probably going to get me watching Supernatural. Ugh. Fine.
Fingers
Anyways,
crossed, and then we'll have
let's
another supernatural episode.
yeah. All right. We'll do it. We'll go through once I finish the season, we'll discuss it and I'll do TikTok.
Don't tease me like that.
Anyways, so Top Gun and Andor seem to be the most popular of 2022 for a lot of people. So why don't you go ahead and I know we mixed ours up with TV shows and movies. So why don't you go ahead and give us your favorite movies first of 2022 before we go into TV shows?
So some of my favorite movies, Wakanda Forever, I feel like that really just, it was such a good
Oh yeah.
storytelling, such a good tribute to Chadwick Boseman. I love the introduction of Namor. I love the Aztec culture intertwined with Namor and making him
He was
something
a
unique.
badass too.
Yes, and he is a badass in the comics
Oh yeah.
too. And I actually one of the things I have been reading is the Namor comics, but it's still very early on. But it's based kind of like old man Namor,
Yeah.
and he's not even king of Atlantis anymore. But it's just I'm so glad he's on the screen. I love the guy that they cast. I can't wait to see more of him and more of the not Atlanteans whose name it's gonna take me a while to
I
remember.
yeah. Oh my
It's
god.
like
Well, you know, on this
Teletiki.
show we're
Nah,
so bad
well,
with
okay, now
like
I'm singing
we're
Melikliki
so
Maka.
bad with names and stuff.
Well, also when you call something something for so long, and then it's like when they changed MGM to Hollywood Studios.
The
It
damn blue
takes you a
people.
while. The damn blue people. Well, then people just need to talk about Avatar. Um, but that I think was probably my favorite movie this year. A lot of people were saying Spider-Man, but Spider-Man did come out at the tail end of 2021. Otherwise,
Yeah.
that would have
It was
been my
December
favorite.
of 2021. Yep.
I did love Doctor Strange, but I didn't love it as much as I expected. And I felt like those
Same.
cameos we got were so much fun, but they were teasers. It was
It's
almost just to like,
it was fan service.
yeah, it was fan service.
There
Yes.
was so much they could have done with that movie, and I feel like they really watered it down and just didn't. You know, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, it does make sense. And I did very much so enjoy the fan service. That was a great moment in the theater. I had so much fun with that.
Oh yeah,
But
no, I'm not going
yeah.
to complain by any chance. But I enjoy getting to see Reed and Professor X and
Hmm.
Captain Carter and all of them back, and Monica Rambeau. So like it was fun. It was great. Or not Monica, her
Yeah.
um
Marie. No, you're
Marie.
right.
It was a Monica or
That
no?
was Oh no, it was Marie.
It was
Yes,
Marie.
Marie's the mom.
Maria Rambeau.
Monica is the one from WandaVision. Yeah, yeah, you're
So
right.
yeah, no, it was great getting to see them, but it's just fan service, which is cool. But and Wanda was a badass. I just feel like there was so much more they could have done, like some more multiverse shenanigans, because it was a multiverse
Yeah.
of madness, and it wasn't all that madness.
Well, and I think a lot of people too had an issue with, Wanda's character development in WandaVision being ignored. And like I even had the talk with my oldest. I'm like, she has the dark hold. She's been corrupted. It's not her anymore. You saw the Wanda from WandaVision in that tunnel or whatever that
Mm-hmm.
Xavier was trying to pull her out of. Like that's the real Wanda. And I think a lot of people want more of that. They want that explanation. They want to see that development of like how could she have gone so dark side
Yeah,
so fast. So I think that was a hard one
it
for a
was
lot
the
of people.
Darkhold. Yeah,
Right. But a lot of people that's not enough. They need more. So I feel like that impacted the story a little bit. But I don't know what it was. I really loved that movie. I'm not going to say I didn't like it by any means. I loved that movie, but I just felt like there was something missing. Maybe because I was
that's
coming
fair.
off the high of Spider-Man. I
That's
don't
fair.
know.
I liked it, didn't love it.
Yeah. I did love Thor. I had issues with
Me
the
too.
whole love conquers all. But outside of that, I loved Thor. I thought they did a great job catching us up with Jane, filling in plot holes. Like if they do something like
Mm-hmm.
that in a less comedic way for Wanda, like awesome.
Yeah,
I thought the whole Mighty Thor thing was great. I don't think her story's over. I think we'll see her again, something to do with Valhalla. I'm not sure. Um, but I did like that one. Spirited was a lot of fun. I really liked Spirited. That was probably my favorite new Christmas movie. And Black Adam, I liked Black Adam. Didn't love it, liked it.
that's fair. I liked Black Adam too. I would definitely say my movie of the year personally it was Top Gun. Um,
I need to see that.
you
I
know,
still haven't seen
I
it.
saw it in theaters and just something about it was some like it was just fun. Like
Mm-hmm.
it captured everything you wanted to like go into this movie. Tom Cruise acting ridiculous, sure, but it's like it was a sequel that was I liked it better than the first movie, and it's I could rewatch that movie. I have rewatched it. It was just a lot of fun. I love Top Gun Maverick. Really great movie. My number two was definitely the Batman. Uh, I really enjoyed this movie. A lot of people had a lot of complaints, like, oh, the third act didn't really fit. Oh, it's so slow. Oh, why is this, that, the other? It's like normally we don't get to see this kind of Batman. Like he was in the suit 75% of the movie. That was
Mm-hmm.
awesome. We don't ever get to see Batman in the suit for 75% of the movie. And he was being a detective. Something we haven't really gotten to see before was Detective Batman. So I'm excited for that. I thought the Riddler was great. He was really creepy. I can't wait to see where they go with this universe. Hopefully, we find out soon what's happening with that. So I like that movie a lot. And then I really love Violent Night. That movie just
Mm.
recently came out. It's got Dave Harbour. He plays Santa Claus who gets roped into rescuing a family from mercenaries, led by John Leguizamo. It's I keep saying it's like if Die Hard and Home Alone had a baby. This is the movie you get. It's so much fun.
And those are
Like
two awesome movies.
yeah, and they're both great movies. So it's just fun. Like they're very aware of the kind of movie they're making, and so but it really works. And so I really love that movie. Of course, I love Wakanda Forever. It was very emotional. Took and saw that movie opening night. It was fantastic. By no means is Wakanda Forever a bad movie. I loved that movie a ton, and it kind of closed the book on you know Phase Four
Yeah.
and Chadwick's passing, and they navigated that really really well. I thought. I
Mm.
saw Black Phone was a highlight. Barbarian, both really good horror movies. Enjoyed those. X came out early in the year. That was a really good movie as well. And then I really liked Thor, and I liked but didn't love Multiverse of Madness. So those would
Mm.
kind of round out my favorites of the year that I've watched. I saw most of those in theaters. I think the only one I didn't see in theaters was Barbarian, and so yeah, I liked Black Adam too. That's good. That gets a notable. I know most people are like, oh, there's just it's popular to hate anything that's DC right now, especially if you're big Twitter accounts out there. And so that's kind of my movies of
Right.
2023. I
Well,
I
I mean,
love. There's a lot to love. We were
yeah.
very spoiled this year. There was so many comic book movies, but there's also so many movies that weren't comic book movies that deserve love. And I get it. It's hard to get people out in theaters right now. It's just we got used to, hey, it's going to go to streaming in 45 days and everything
Hmm.
goes to streaming faster. So people just wait. because it's easier to do. And I don't blame them, but there was a lot of good movies that weren't comic book properties that came out this year.
Yeah. So, and when I did that poll, I was like, God, I still need to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh,
I've
I
heard
did watch
nothing but
that.
phenomenal things, and
See,
I still need to watch Maverick.
I can't believe you haven't watched Top Gun yet. That's just boo,
Do I need to watch the
boo,
rewatch the old one because I haven't
tomato.
watched that in
No, you don't
years?
really need to watch the first one.
Okay.
I will say I liked Everything Everywhere All at Once. It wasn't in my top favorite movies. I know it's a very popular. It was a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love it. I liked it. I'm maybe I'm not the target audience. Maybe I'm not the one that was so. That's kind of where
Right.
I'm at. Like I didn't like, oh, this is amazing. It was just like, yeah, this is solid.
Yeah, well, I had a few different people that had recommended that movie that are into different things.
Yeah,
But the thing with Black Adam too is, I mean, after I saw that, I was like, I want to do an episode on Black Adam because like I wanted to know
yeah.
more. I thought it was well done. And I know we say like, oh, The Rock is the same in every movie. He wasn't outside of his couple sarcastic things with Pierce Brosnan. I didn't think he was Maui. I mean,
Yeah.
I
And
don't know.
I thought that they did a really good job. Like Hodges did a really great job as Hawkman, Brosnan. We got to see Doctor Fate.
Brosnan
So
was beautiful.
yeah, I was excited to see those characters come on the big screen. So I hope we get more of them. I hope they stick around.
Oh, show.
What about some TV shows? What were some TV shows that you really enjoyed from the 2022 realm?
I'm going to start with Legends of Tomorrow because that
Ooh,
show did end
okay.
this year.
It did.
And I just not too long ago, like this month, just caught up with it on Netflix. And gosh damn it, I am upset that that show got canceled. That show was strong the last season. They did a
It was a
great
strong
job.
show all around.
The first season, I had my doubts. The first season, I didn't love, but I hung on because at the time I was watching all of the other CW shows. So it was just part of what I watched. And then when I started to give up on the other stuff, I stuck with Legends, but then I kind of gave up on everything after Arrow ended and it wasn't doing great. And I was like, I'm just gonna pull up Legends. And they're just so good at making fun of themselves and bringing in the pop culture references and just it's a great show. I mean,
Yeah.
every episode they're just flat out making fun of everything. And it had a strong ending. It ended somewhat on a cliffhanger. They very easily could have brought it back, but it also could have been one of those finales that's just like, this is just what the legends do at the end of every season, and they're just going to continue to do it forever. So I guess in my head, that's what I will think. But yeah, I'm saying Legends of Tomorrow. I also got Moon Knight. I think that was my favorite Disney Plus show this year for
Oh, okay.
Marvel. I just, I loved that we were him, that we were Stephen Grant. We
Yeah.
were, the perspective of, and I know a lot of people were getting frustrated the first couple episodes, but I just thought it was great. I thought the payoff was great. I loved all of the characters as, they developed more through the season, not just his characters, but other characters too. And then seeing Jake Lockley I thought that I loved it. And I love Oscar Isaac. I have like a newfound appreciation for Oscar Isaac.
And
I mean, and that man's been in what, 3 different Marvel roles now?
yeah, I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff. And we even got
It's
to talk to
Apocalypse.
Haley
Yeah.
from, she was the assistant to the director on Moon Knight. And that was a really fun episode. I enjoyed doing, getting to hear some of the things. But
Yeah.
yeah, he
She
was
was,
Apocalypse. He was
can't
Moon
remember what the other
Knight.
one was.
I'm
And he was
missing one.
somebody
But
else
obviously,
too.
he was Poe Dameron in Star Wars. So
Yeah.
he's been everywhere. Like, he's a phenomenal actor.
I feel like that must be like the thing now, like to hit the Star Wars and the Marvel. Like that's got to be
Yeah.
like a
Well,
geek actor's
Harrison
goal.
Ford's doing it now. So
I mean, I feel like all of the amazing actors are. We even got Eric Salvig and Andor. So obviously Andor, I think I enjoyed
Christian Bale.
Obi-Wan. Yeah, Christian Bale. Wait, he's in Star. Oh, that's
He's not in
right.
Star Wars, but
Wait, no, he was.
he was
Wasn't he a
Batman.
stormtrooper?
He might have been a stormtrooper, but I mean, he was Batman, and now he played a villain in Thor. So I mean, he's crossed. It's a
Right.
cool thing to do. Everybody crosses just check marks a comic book movie. That's what we do now, and it's awesome. It's great.
Right. It's the Infinity Stones. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need DC, Marvel, Star Wars. And was it? I love
Ah,
when you add in like
power.
Disney princess or something like a
Yeah.
Disney character. Um, so I think of my favorite Disney Plus for Star Wars was Obi-Wan. I thought Andor was
Ooh,
amazing and I loved Andor, but Obi-Wan was the first time I really had feelings for Star Wars that were strong. It was the first time I was
I am
like,
not your failure, Obi-Wan. Ooh, I get the goosies.
just all of it, the Leia stuff. And then, yes, that. And, I read Brotherhood right after
Oh
Obi-Wan
yeah.
came out.
Oh God, crushes you. Just
But it's just all of it. Just seeing Obi-Wan and just feeling for Obi-Wan. And because when we meet him, the first time we meet him, he's this very content old man
Yeah.
that's just wise and is just, well, this is just how it is and how it's going to be. And I know that I'm on the right path. And it's like, how do the old people get wise?
Although Obi-Wan, you really could have killed him and just stopped everything from happening, but whatever. I'll let this slide.
So yeah. And I think those are all the TV
Yeah.
shows that I listed. Oh, I
Yeah.
did list the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday
Okay.
special.
That was really good. I'm not like I like the Guardians. I don't love the Guardians, but I really enjoyed the holiday special. And we bump
Yeah.
those tunes still.
Oh
Like
yeah.
my even though my son went to school and added the F word into the first one by the old 97s, but it's like, all right, there's no F words. Just sing it how it is. And we sing that one on the reg at the house.
Oh yeah, all those songs I added to the Christmas playlist. This
Yeah.
year, I mean, we have Good Afternoon on the playlist too.
Good. We do too. Yes.
So
Spirited
yeah,
was a really good movie. I really enjoyed that movie. It was a very fantastic take on, the Christmas Carol.
such a unique perspective because
It was.
there's probably hundreds of Christmas
Oh,
carols out there if you include
yes.
all of these little projects and everything. That was the most unique one I've
Agreed.
ever come across.
For sure.
And but I think one of the things I loved though about Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is what you said. This is the end credit scene for this phase 4 of just grief.
Yeah, and it was
And
like
then
family together and like
yes,
it ended on a happy note.
well, and it was about dealing with grief.
Yeah.
They were literally just trying to make Star Lord feel better, and
Yeah,
they
I mean,
made
he was
all
dealing
of
with
us feel
Gamora. Yeah.
better.
Agreed. Agreed. So, my favorite TV shows, I definitely have Andor as my number one. Like I've been begging to get something from like how did the rebellion start? Give us these people who don't have force abilities, take us away from the emperor and all that stuff. And Mon Mothma, a snack, first of all.
Mm,
Second of all, this it was great. Like Cassian Andor getting to see how he gets roped in and how it's just like this mystery thriller. I thought that was my favorite Star Wars property of the year. Obviously, I loved Obi-Wan just as much, and getting to see that fight sequence between them in the final episode is one of the best fight sequences in Star Wars. I thought it was so raw and emotional, and just the way that went down. So, but Andor tops it. I have Only Murders in the Building is another one
ooh, I forgot about that
with
one.
Selena Gomez and Martin Short and oh my god, why am I forgetting his name? Steve
Steve
Martin.
Martin.
Yes, Steve
You
Martin.
say
Man,
Steve Martin
what?
short,
Yes, there's so many Martins and Steves, but Steve Martin, these three like they just work so well
and they
together.
shouldn't,
I
and
don't know
they
what it
do.
is, and then the writing is so clever. It's like, okay, we solved a murder the first season. Where do we go from here? And now we're getting a third season that's coming out next year, and it's just like it's phenomenal. It's so clever and so witty. The writing
Right.
is amazing. The actors knock it out of the park. So if you haven't watched Only Murders in the Building, it's on
Highly
Hulu.
recommend that. Yeah.
You have to watch that
Well, and I think
without a
it's
doubt.
genius that they throw Selena Gomez in there because you have these two iconic comedians
Yeah,
that play off of each other so well. But
it's like
also
dry.
they're older though, so it's like some of the new stuff like she's in there to sprinkle that in to make fun of
Yeah,
them for being old and they make fun of her for being young, but it makes it more relatable for so many different ages.
yeah. No,
But
agreed.
Martin Short plays Lumiere in that Beauty and the Beast
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing. So
Right
yeah,
on.
the live action portion, he's Lumiere.
Look at that.
And
He's
they
in
don't
there.
just do verbatim from the movie. Some of the lines are ad lib, like they even make a TikTok joke with Cogsworth. And he's like, do your TikTok dance. He's like, I don't have a TikTok dance. That's just me walking. And he walks and it goes TikTok, TikTok.
Oh man, we're old. We enjoy shit like that. My favorite Marvel property this year, I would say Miss Marvel, just because I thought it was great seeing Kamala. And
Hmm.
there was a lot of heart behind that too. I say I use the term a lot of heart a lot. I feel like, but when something
I
really
know.
makes you feel something in your heart, that's what I mean. And so that really
Right.
did. She's a teenager. She loves the Avengers, and now she gets to grow into this. I also loved She-Hulk a lot. I did like Moon Knight a lot. I didn't love Moon Knight. I'm also not like as familiar with the character, maybe, but I enjoyed Moon Knight. But I liked She-Hulk a lot as well, just because it raised a lot of it wasn't taking itself seriously, but at the same time it raised a lot of like, okay, as a woman, like superhero, like you can see a lot of these arguments happening in real life if superpowers are real. And it's just like, yeah. And then we got our boy Daredevil back. So that was amazing.
That was
I
amazing.
really enjoyed that. So those are my favorites. I don't really know, like Game of Thrones, House of Dragon. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I didn't list
I'm
that.
not in love with it. I'm just kind of like, yeah, eh. So that was decent. And I don't really know that I really watched any other TV shows outside of that I can think of off the top of my head.
Titans, but I already stopped watching
Yeah,
it. I
no,
think
I
I
did enjoy Titans a lot. We did see season 4.1 early. I haven't caught up on Doom Patrol yet.
yeah, I
So,
haven't either.
but
I do
my
intend to though.
yeah, I do intend to as well. So that's kind of it for my TV shows. I will sprinkle in a couple things. I think the current Darth Vader run is some of my favorite Star Wars comic book content right now, just because you're getting to see him work through the grief of losing Padme. He visits her grave, and it kind of goes from there. So that I highly recommend if you're reading a comic book, check that out. And then my favorite video game of this year is Horizon Forbidden West. I'm pretty sure it came out in the spring. That's my favorite video game of the year right there on PlayStation. That series is fantastic. I love that. So check that out if you can. And then we had a lot of good guests this year as well. I thought,
So I was actually
Tommy
gonna
was
go. Yeah.
there, Lori was with us, really great comic book creators. So why don't you go ahead and run down our guest list of 2022?
So we started off actually with Beard Al and Beer in Front. So those are two different
Yes.
podcasts. So we talked about Ted Lasso with them. Beard Al is a podcast that they drink beer and talk about Weird Al. And then Beer in Front is the podcast we've been talking about recently, where we drank a bunch of the crappy beers and we drank some good beers and we all got to pretend to be beer judges. And he did a live show. I wish we had been part of it. I caught it later, but it was a lot of fun to hear everybody kind of rate things like
Yeah.
Miller Lite and then rate Pliny. The winners of the macro were Guinness, and the winner of the micro was Pliny. So I think we all saw that coming from the get go.
Yeah.
But it was still fun. He's going to do that again this year, and I believe he's going to release the beer list earlier. So maybe we can
Sick.
actually make that part of one of our routines that we rate the beer real quick and then drink the beer while we record, since we are usually drinking beer.
Yeah.
Then we had Steve Urena and Misty Graves. They
Yes.
are comic book creators. You can find them on Kickstarter, and we share their stuff a lot on Instagram as well. Steve is the one that has done Slow Pokes, and he did Zombie Date Night. Together, they did the Santa Claus one, the Ex
Ex
Machina.
Machina. Yep.
So that's a great Christmas one. I'll share that on the Instagram again. I thought I was cracking up laughing through that comic. It is a Christmas comic for adults. We had my friend Johnny on. We had Nick on. We had Ian and Gnome to talk supernatural. We had Sean and Nick on. We had Heather Antos. That's a big one.
Yes, she was great. She's one of the lead editors. She's done a lot of stuff for Star Wars, Dr. Aphra, things like that. And she's currently doing Star Trek. So great guest.
Then we had Joe Blablazo on.
Yeah, Joe. He does a lot of comic books, but he also does a lot of work for Woodland Empire.
Yes, his artwork is amazing. We had Braxton Cosby come on. He's a
Yep.
comic book creator. And then we had Josh. We had Wheel of Horror on. We had Hops and Heroes on, and then we already
We had the
mentioned
boys
the.
over at Geek Peak come on too.
Oh yeah,
Lord of the
he's on
Breed.
here.
Chris, shout out.
Yep. We had the assistant director for Moon Knight,
Hey,
Hyatt.
Hyatt.
We had Andrew on. We talked about mental health, and actually, we talked a little bit of Moon Knight. We had Wikipedia on. We
Yes, we
had
did.
we had Dustin Nelson, Kibble Smith. That's another big one.
Yes, and he wants to come back on next year, so that's gonna be exciting to run it back with him next year.
Awesome. And so we had Task on to talk about She-Hulk. Chris from the Geek Peak to talk about Lord of the Rings. Theme Park Blurred. Go follow him on TikTok. He does a lot. TikTok. He does a lot of fun theme park stuff. We had Riley, one of our Patreons, on, and then recently had Tommy Stella on,
Yep.
who he works for. What
He's the
the
assistant for Charles Soule,
There
and
you
he
go.
also does a lot of really good stuff as far as comic books. Write lots of kids comic books, and yeah.
And then we ended the season with Cheap Seats review.
Yep. Well, we ended the season with L.A. Cunningham.
L.A. Cunningham. I haven't
Oh,
updated this document.
yes,
That was
sorry.
last
We ended the
week.
season with her. That was last week's episode, so check that out for sure. She does her comic like Babies with Rabies. I have to get my hands on that book just because the artwork looks so insane. But that was really good. So yeah, we had a lot of good stuff happen in 2022. Let us know what you want us to do in 2023. We're doing a lot of things. Some of my favorite memories, like 2022 was a big year. We did our first press appearance at
Oh,
Spanx Salt Lake Comic Con, to where we actually got to interview Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson, Randall and Dante from Clerks, and that was amazing. That was like our
those were our
biggest.
biggest guests.
That was our biggest of
100%.
the year,
Yeah.
without a doubt. And great people. It was so much fun. I got to hug Kevin Smith at this Comic Con, and that was. We actually got to get together twice this year in person, which is really great because we went to Nashville and then we went to Comic Con together. So that was amazing. And then, of course, I got to build the lightsaber behind me. That was a really great memory going in August to Disneyland Avengers
Yeah.
Campus. So 2020 was really big year. A lot of traveling, did a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cities, went to Austin, San Antonio, uh, Los Angeles, Anaheim, Nashville, Salt Lake City. A lot of traveling was done this year. And so 2020 was good
Thank
to us.
God.
And I hope 2023 is even better. I can tell you I'm going back home to Boston. So I'm hoping to see, you know, Josh from Four Nerds, Sean, hopefully get to meet Sean, all these people in person. Going to see my family, of course. But I'm also going to
Mm-hmm.
be able to hit the breweries that I haven't been able to go to in a long time and see family, and who knows where else I'm going to be moving next year. So hopefully we can find some time. I might be going to Seattle because we got press passes to Emerald City Comic Con. So I might be going to Seattle in March too. So a lot of
Mm.
good things already shaping up for 2023. We're going to kind of talk about things that we want to do in 2023 next week with our most anticipated list and kind of talk about that. So before we
Well, I
wrap
have to,
up, do you have any
yeah.
final thoughts?
No, I just, yeah, it's going to be a big year. I turned 40, so I got to start planning that trip.
Well, you got to let me know because I have to go to Malibu and I have to go to Omaha, Nebraska for weddings, and then your 40th.
What? Yeah, I wanted to do Ireland, but it's such an expensive trip, and I didn't want to sacrifice doing a bunch of other little trips. So I'm currently thinking Maine, Maryland, Maine-ish. Hit up those breweries.
Maryland, Maine.
Everybody's like,
Ooh,
"What are you doing? I need to know. You need to plan things." So that is my
yeah, let me know because I'm
January
going to be
to-do
moving
list.
around that time. So who knows? I might be coming that way anyways.
Yep, August 4th, I'll be somewhere not in Florida drinking. That's the plan with
Big
no kids.
years. Big years. Yeah. So we'll get into that next week. For
Yep.
everybody, go ahead, check out our latest episodes. I know we made the switch and some of our stuff might have gotten lost in the switch and things like that. But hey, if you can go ahead, help us build back up. We're on every platform, good pods, all of that stuff. That's our 2022 in review. Next week, we're going to talk about 2023. So let us know about anything that you're excited for. Let us know what we messed up on today. And we really appreciate you guys. Merry Christmas or
Happy New
happy
Year.
holidays, whatever it is you celebrate. I hope you guys spend it with
Happy
family and
Hanukkah.
friends. Have a really good time. And we'll see you
Happy
guys
Kwanzaa. Happy
next
Boxing Day.
year. Ha ha ha.
Cheers.
Cheers.